Hello guys, it's Dranina here. It has been a year since I arrived here in Portia and it has been an amazing year. You guys have been following my adventure for the past 100 episodes, or around 40 hours that I have been playing this game. During this time I've made many mistakes and I want to make sure you guys don't have to make the same mistakes I made. So here you have my top 10 tips and tricks for what I learned during my first year here in Portia. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe and ring the notification bell if you want to get notified every time I post a new video. If you want to catch up on previous Portia videos, you can find the playlist down in the description box below. Tip number 1. No commissions doesn't mean you don't have anything to do. Please, do not fall into the same trap as I did. During my first couple of weeks here in Portia, there were many moments where I had no commissions to work on, and I considered these moments as free time. Often I would go to bed early, hoping the next day would bring me some new adventure. But I was so wrong. Free time means you have time to work on anything else, depending on how things are going at your workshop. A couple of examples are: improve your relationship with other characters. During the game, some will have small missions for you to do or desired food or item they would love to receive. Help them with those missions or give them those items and you will improve your relationship. And you know how it goes. Better relationships means better perks from those characters. Chop a lot of food. And I seriously mean guys, lots of it. You never have too much food. I constantly ran out of food during my early days and if I had any wood in stock, I would have been able to continue working. Once you have commissions, your time is valuable and you don't want to be spending it chopping wood. So do this task when you feel like you have nothing else to do. Go to an ancient ruin for a day. You don't want to believe how much ore you can get if you can spend one of your off days in an ancient ruin. Believe me when I say it's insane. And speaking of ore, if you have much of it but are low on metal bars, you can always go ahead and smelt some of the ore into bars in your furnaces. You will probably need the metal bars somewhere in the future, so why not make it right now? Which brings us to tip number 2. Keep your furnaces running 24/7. Smelting ore into metal bars takes time you do not always have. For example, carbon steel bars take between 2.5 and 4 hours to make, depending on which furnace you use. You do not want to wait hours for these bars to finish, especially if you have a commission with a time limit. Having metal bars ready-made also means being able to finish a commission relatively quickly. Finishing commissions quickly means having the ability to do more commissions in the same time, and therefore earning more money. Tip number 3. Upgrade your assembly station and workbench whenever possible. During your time in Portia, the game will hand you quests that will require a higher level workbench or assembly station that you currently have. Many of these quests, such as the Portia Bridge, do have a time limit. You do not want to spend precious time trying to scramble together the money and resources that you need to upgrade your assembly station or workbench. Think ahead and upgrade those facilities whenever you have the money and resources to do so, preferably before the game requires you to. Tip number 4. Organize, especially those chests. This tip is a lot easier if you have been doing this since the beginning, but it can be done later in game. And it's fairly easy. Build a chest and give it a logical name. And think about names like food, apparel, general resources, relics, etc. If you need a resource in the future, you can easily find it in the sea of chests you probably have somewhere in your workshop. And don't forget about the sort all button either. Open a random chest, press the sort all button, and your inventory will be sorted automatically in all your chests. It's easy, right? Tip number 5. Count events as lost days. Events are really fun, but they do take up a chunk of your day. In the calendar you can find between which time period an event will take place. And don't be surprised that it takes up most of your day. I generally consider events as lost days, since I cannot really work on commissions. What I can do though, is making sure that my furnaces, grinders, cutters and other crafting stations are busy while I'm having fun these days. Tip number 6. The Portia wiki page is your holy grail item. Don't be ashamed to open up the Portia wiki if you do not know what to do or where to make or find a certain item. Unfortunately, some information isn't available in game. One example of this is the valve. I needed a valve for one of my missions, but didn't know how to get one. After searching through every crafting station's list of recipes, I gave up and opened up the Portia wiki. Apparently, valves can only be achieved in ancient ruins, but the game never told me this. lo and behold, the next time I went into the said ancient ruins, I found the vault that I needed. Tip number 7. Know your ancient runes. As I said before, some relics and items are available in certain ancient runes. And the same goes for metal ore. If you want copper or tin ore, go to abandoned runes number 1 beneath the church. For iron, lead, manganese and tin ore, you can go to abandoned runes number 2, which is located on a hill in the middle of the town. The ruins in the desert give you the same ore as abandoned runes number 2, but also aluminium and magnesium ore. If you are unsure where to find a certain item, hover over it with your mouse and it will tell you exactly where to find it. Believe me, you do not want to go and search for copper ore anywhere else but abandoned runes number 1, like I did. Tip number 8. Read carefully. I lost count how many mistakes I have made because I didn't read the description of missions or items. Just so you know, a racket doesn't hit as hard as a practice sword, let alone a bronze or iron sword. I walked around with a racket most of the time because I thought my racket would be just fine. Let's just say that I was very wrong. Another example would be time limits on quests. Allah asked whether I could help him out and I accepted the quest. I went to bed thinking 10 o'clock was a good time to go to bed. Next morning, I failed the quest, all because I didn't check whether there was a time limit or not. My advice? Read descriptions carefully. Tip number 9. Keep that research going. Petra loves her data disks, and who are we not to give her those? Having that research will give you all kinds of new equipment, which you will probably need in the future anyway. I waited days, if not weeks, for my blender diagram to show up, even though I needed it to make dog food for another quest that I had going on. It doesn't take a whole lot of time to take a stack of disks to the research center, so why not stop by after you've received a new diagram in your mailbox? And last but certainly not least, tip number 10. There are no commissions in the weekends. On Saturday and Sunday you won't find any commissions on the notice board. Instead, the Commerce Guild will have an inspection where you have to find flaws in all the products that have been previously handed in for commissions. The inspection gives you a reward if you have finished them successfully, often providing you with power stones or tempering liquid. So don't go to the guild in the weekends to pick up new commissions, because you won't find any. Plan ahead and get a commission on Friday if you expect to finish whatever you're working on in the weekends. And these were my top 10 tips for what I learned during my first year in Portia. Please let me know in the comment section down below what your biggest mistakes were, what you learned from them. Also, if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. Take care everyone, and I see you all next time.